Foreign police are now in Haiti to help curb the ongoing surge in gang violence. The UN mission is being led by Kenyan forces. When all personnel arrive, there will be a total of 2,500 police and soldiers from multiple countries, including Kenya, the Bahamas, Bangladesh, and Jamaica. Their operations within Haiti are being kept top secret. So Eyder Peralta is joining me now. He's an international correspondent for NPR. Thank you so much for joining us right now. So I guess my first question is, what are the officials sort of hoping that this foreign police force will be able to do? At this point, the local gangs that have been essentially controlling the capital have had ample time to prepare. So what is the hope here?
I mean, the hope is simple, right? I mean, the gangs control about 80% of the capital of Port-au-Prince. And so the hope is to get Port-au-Prince and the country back under control. And then eventually, when that happens, move Haiti toward elections so it can have a legitimate government. I mean, Haiti hasn't had elections in years. There's not a single politician in Haiti that has a current mandate. So the idea with this international force, or at least what the interim government, what the transitional government is saying, is they basically need to get the gangs under control, get Haiti to a point where people can actually get to the voting polls.
You know, prior to this, as I recall, some of the gang leaders were sort of making suggestions that at this point they should be kind of folded in to mainstream politics. I'm wondering if we're hearing any kind of sideline negotiations when it comes to some of these gang leaders, because they know that this police force is arriving.
Well, look, I was there a few weeks ago, and I was actually talking to some of the gang leaders, and they are incredibly well armed. I mean, I saw dozens and dozens of men with assault-style rifles, and there's a lot of them. And they all told me one thing, including Jimmy Charizier, Barbecue, who's one of the leaders of these gangs. And they all told me what we want right now is a seat at the table. They want a position in this government. But there's two sort of massive problems here, which is that under the agreement of this transitional government, all of the members of that transitional government promised two things. One, that they would respect this UN mission. And two, the thing about that UN mission, or this a Kenyan-led international mission, is that it is meant to fight the gangs. The Prime Minister, Gary Conille, has left some room for negotiations, but he has put two conditions forward. One, the gangs have to drop the weapons, and two, they have to acknowledge, they have to accept the government of Haiti and its authority and its legitimacy. All of those things seem very difficult to bridge, right?
Right. So we're lucky to have you, Eyder, because you were actually working in Kenya, I think, for sort of 6 years. So it's really appropriate right now. Prior to the protests that are happening in Kenya now over the tax reform, there were questions about the Kenyan police force and whether or not they would be able to handle this, whether or not they would be able to do this ethically. Can you talk to me about some of the controversies surrounding the Kenyan police force, particularly now as the world is watching Nairobi, you know, in some cases, some buildings burn as they react to the protesters?
Yeah, I mean, human rights groups are saying that some 20 protesters were killed in Nairobi. And that is not unusual for the Kenyan police force that is being deployed to Haiti. They're called the GSU, and it's a paramilitary unit of the Kenyan police. And I was there at a very tense moment in Kenya in 2017. There were elections. Those elections, the results of those elections were challenged, and there were mass protests on the street. And I saw that police force act in ways that were both inept and and ruthless, right? And I think that was exactly the concern of the Kenyan police coming in. I mean, often you would see the Kenyan police trying to control a small neighborhood in Kenya where people were throwing rocks. They didn't have the weapons that the gangs in Haiti have, and it would take them a day or two to get that under control. And they would end up shooting unarmed protesters, right? They might have been violent, but they were unarmed. And so there have been questions from the very get-go about just, how well can this force do against a much larger threat than what they face daily in Kenya. And two, there were also questions about this force because Kenya has an Islamist insurgency in its northern part that it has not been able to control. I've asked U.S. officials, what do you think about this? And they say we're training them, we are vetting them one by one. But ultimately, U.S. officials have told me the Kenyans are responsible, and we will hold them responsible for any human rights violations that they commit in Haiti.
Well, Eyder, I mean, Haiti needs this to work, so let's hope that the plans that are in place are actually successful. Eyder, thank you very much.